What's up guys, welcome to Diving Garage. In today's video, we're going to be comparing a 3-jaw stone hone you can find at the auto parts store or a ball hone and figure out what each of these do, when you should use each of these, and which one you should use in your budget rebuild. Let's dive in. All right, the first one I want to talk about is the 3-jaw stone hone. This is what you can find at the auto parts store, and this is probably the hone you're most familiar with. And when you get it out of the package and you cut this little zip tie, it'll probably spring open just like this. And there's a couple adjustments on here that you're going to need to use if you want to use this with a, like here we're working on our $500 budget build challenge, small block Chevy 283. And the bore on this is much smaller than the max capacity this thing can handle. So the first thing you want to do is you want to squeeze this closed. And you can see there's a little gold collar or nut there. And what you want to do is back this down all the way to the smallest setting. And the smallest setting on here is going to be the perfect size for what we're doing. But basically what you want to do is get this to where you have to still squeeze it to get it into the bore of your engine. So I'm going to get this down as far as I can go because these bores are pretty small in this little 283. And so now when I let go, it only goes to about there. And then now when I go to try to put it in, I still have to give it a little squeeze and then it'll get in there just fine. And the second adjustment is this spring here. And this is the pressure on how hard these little arms are trying to push outward. And that's the pressure exerted on your cylinder walls. And that's this nut right here. Pretty easy. If you tighten it down, what you're doing is you're compressing that spring, increasing the outward pressure. What I want you to do, if this is your first time using a stone hone, I want you to back this all the way out. So that way we're using the least amount of pressure with this stone hone. So now in this configuration, this stone hone is ready to go. You could bore a small block 350. We're going to do that with this 283 here, and you'll be good to go. And the reason I have this all the way backed off with the least amount of pressure is so that way you're taking off the least amount in each pass. So that way you don't have to be worried. You don't have to be worried about damaging the block or over boring it, which with the stone that you basically can't do. But unless you sit there for an hour pumping that thing on one cylinder. Anyway, but in this configuration, this hone is ready to go and safe to use. Let's take a quick talk about this other one. This is called a ball hone, made by the company Flex Hone. Some people also call this a dingleberry hone, and you have to do absolutely nothing to this to get it ready. So what this does is these little balls, these are just little abrasives attached to the on a little stick, and these conform to the cylinder you're putting it in. This one is actually a little bit too big size for this bore, and basically all you have to do is just kind of get it lined up and give it a nice little twist with your drill, and it'll conform. These little sticks will sort of bend, so that way it'll fit the shape of your bore. And these two come in different sizes, and this one here, I think the smallest is about a 3.5 inch bore. And the biggest I want to say is a 4 1/4, if I got that right. Anyway, but all you got to do is go to flexhone.com. This is not a sponsor. I'm just telling you where I got this from. And then pick the size you want. You also want to pick a grit. This one is a 180 grit. I've been using this just fine. And if you're looking for something to pick, this one will do you just fine. All right, now when you're using these hones, you want to make sure you use some sort of lubricant. Of the two, I would only use the stone hone dry. And even then, you really want to use something. Not only does it help your stones live longer, any sort of little debris gets caught in the fluid and eventually kicked out the bottom. And these are a few things you'll see online for people would recommend. Starting with probably the weirdest is hydraulic jack oil. This one I have never tried, and I'm never going to. I did try this PB Blaster. Some people use it. I wasn't a huge fan. And this is just some sort of all-purpose oil. I got this at the hardware store. This is from Liquid Wrench. It says light machine oil. I still think that was too thick. So I just eventually landed on everyone's favorite non-lubricant lubricant. Good old WD-40, right? The good thing is you probably already have some of this. You may not have these other things. So that's what we're going to use today. All right, so now we've kind of gone over the materials we're going to be using. I'm going to give you what each of these does. So the stone hone, since the stones are nice and flat, what this is going to do is it's going to reveal any high or low spots in your cylinder. And I'm going to demonstrate this in a second. And what it's going to do is if your cylinder is a little bit out of round, maybe it's slightly egg-shaped, or it just has a problem area, this can actually correct that. As to where a ball hone, what this is going to do is, since these flex, there's no set I guess, width. They'll flex until you really crush them down. But what this is going to do is that it's going to give your cylinders a nice finish for your piston rings to seat on or wear in on or break in on. And these each actually have their purpose. But let's use them. Let's see what they look like and the different finishes they give, and then we'll talk about when to use each of these. Okay, and of course to use both of these, you're going to need to get yourself a drill. And what I want you to do is make sure it's on low speed. We don't need to be doing this on high speed. And it'll give you the speed ranges on the side of your drill there. What we're looking for is around a 200 rotations per minute. So we're with the 450 on this drill on 1, or speed number 1. I'm going to give it about a half trigger pull, and that's going to be what we're looking for. And then also, one more thing I want you to do is get your clutch on your drill, turn it way down. I'm going to put this one on 5. And why is that? Because when you're using the stone hone, there are little ridges down there. If you go down too far, your clutch will kick in and the stone will stop. And what you're doing there is you're preventing the stone on the little tips on the edges. You can see there, I've kind of chipped this one a couple times, and I went down too slow, or it went down too far, but the clutch caught it, and so that way it didn't totally wreck the stone. If you have your drill on all the way in drill mode, what you're going to do is you're going to just wreck that stone, and you're going to be getting yourself a new set of stones. Also, by the way, these come with a medium grit. I think it's like 180 grit stone, and really that's fine for what we're doing here. You can get the replacement 220s, but it's really not necessary. So let's go. I'm going to work on these 2 cylinders here, and in the left-hand cylinder, I'm going to use the stone hone, and in the right hand, I'm going to use the ball hone. It'll be a little tough to talk, so I'll get them done, and then we'll talk about the results. All right, so let's check out cylinder number 1. This is when we did the stone hone on, and you can see, let me see if I can reach down in there. Here we go. You can see the sections here where the stone was contacting very nice, and you can see here where it was sort of missing. That's where we have a little bit of pitting going on, and then it was contacting pretty nice down here. Also, it missed a bit up here. So now we know the kind of the health of this cylinder, and that it needs a hone job. But that's okay. That's what we're here to do. So now let's look at the ball hone. Looks good, right? Well, what the heck's going on in there? You have a nice finish all the way from the top, all the way down. I actually missed this spot right here. But you don't know where are the high spots, where are the low spots. No real information there. So as a comparison, if you can get them both in one shot, yeah, there you go. So we can see here that the one that actually tells us what's going on is the 3-jaw stone hone. And that, to me, is the one you should be using when you're doing a budget rebuild like this. And the ball hone, this is for in a situation where you know the cylinders are straight, because you've either straightened them yourself or they've been straight recently by a machine shop or something. And I don't know, you blew a piston, you're in between rounds of the racetrack, you had to do quick re-ring. You want to get this ball hone, jam it in there a few times just to touch up the cylinder walls, give those new rings a good surface, and that's what I would use the ball hone for. So the ball hone is for like at the track or in an emergency, and that's all you got. But what you really need to do for if you're doing this at home yourself, you need to get yourself a 3-jaw stone hone. Just a quick recap of how to use each one of these. Lubricate the stones, lubricate the cylinders, back this down all the way so where when you're putting it in the cylinder, you still have to give it a little squeeze, and it's adjustable. If you have, like, again, you're working on a 350 or you're working on a big block, whatever you are. And then this is a spring pressure. Again, keep this light so that way you can run, I don't know, 50 passes if you want, and you're still really not moving that much metal. And I don't know if you saw me when I was doing it a second ago. You chuck it in your jaw, and then you come into the cylinder, and you're spinning. You come down until just before you hit that main skirt down there, and you come up, but you only want to come up about that far. That's roughly 1/4 to a 1/2 inch. That's actually, yeah, that's 1/2 inch for sure. You don't want to be coming halfway out like that, because you want to make sure these stones are supported on the little pivot down there. So you really want to kind of stay right there in that general depth. But just do even slow passes. You got your trigger half pulled on your drill, and just down and count them. Just do, I don't know, 10, wipe it out, check it, see what's going on. And 10 more, wipe out, check it, see what's going on. You could end up doing, like I said, 40 or 50 passes with this real light pressure and get to your final size. And then with the ball hone, there's not really much to it. Chalk it up, lube it up, give it 10 or so, and then that's kind of it. What you're doing here is, yes, you are removing some metal, and what you're doing here is you're just moving the metal and giving it a new surface. You're not removing anything. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna actually do the hone job on here and let you watch the process and the way I do it. On what I'm gonna do is to finish off this first cylinder, and that'll give me an idea of how much I need to do to the other two. And then once I figure out the final pass number, I'm just gonna do that final pass number on this cylinder right here. Because since we did the ball hone, we kind of lost our guide. We don't have a map anymore, so we're just gonna go off what the other three do. All right, so I'm gonna get to it. Okay, that was about 15 real-time minutes, and let's see how it went. Here we go. Let's start here with, what is this, cylinder number 1. So this cylinder here probably is the worst. You can see down there that section, that low spot, it's not even totally all the way around. So what that is that just a bit of an egg shape. So this section here on the side of the cylinder wall is a little farther in than the rest. Overall, it's not too bad. There's a tiny little section right there, but overall it's not too bad. And you're probably seeing this ring right here. Well, why is this here? Well, this is where the most intense combustion event happens. A few degrees after top dead center is when the highest cylinder pressure happens. And guess when that is? Right about here. Reason number 2 is that when you bolt the head on, these cylinders sort of straighten out a little bit. So that's another reason that's there. This is a cylinder that we ball honed, and after we did the stone hone, we actually sort of could see the high and low sections. Like right about there, you can see a low section that kind of matches this cylinder here. But overall, it's really not too bad. All right, coming down here to cylinder number 5. Sort of same story. We got a kind of tiger stripe going on here. We got a top ring, middle ring, and a bottom ring. And that just means those are low points that the stone hone didn't touch. Overall, this section is not too bad. This one isn't super healthy. This here is a number 7 cylinder. This one's probably the best shape out of all of them. There's some tiny little sections right here that stone hone didn't touch. Some with a little flash rust. But overall, this one isn't really that bad. This one is decently straight. So now you're probably wondering, all right, Ben, I did a stone hone, but I can still see those sections and it's bothering me. What can I do? Well, I'll show you. Who says you can't get a perfect hone job in your garage? Look at that thing. Looking stinking good. But in all seriousness, guys, if you're using a 3-jaw stone hone and a ball hone, we're not really going for perfect. We're going for good enough. And for what we're doing here, this is a $500 budget build challenge. If this thing makes noise, it's a win. Now, if you hung around to this point in the video, you're probably asking yourself, Ben, how do we know how big these are? Do I need oversized pistons now? Is my standard size stuff gonna work? Well, there's one way to answer that. It's this guy right here, dial bore gauge. So I'll set this up to measure our cylinder width here, and then we'll compare that to the spec and see if we're still good to go or not. The answer is we're still good to go, but I'll show you anyway. All right, I got my bore gauge set up for the standard bore size here, which is 3/875. And what we're gonna do is see how close we are. So let me get you into a little bit better position so you can see what's going on here. All right, yep, that'll work. So when the needle, can you see the needle? Yeah, when the needle here touches 0, that's our target size. So right here at the top of this cylinder, we're actually, what, 2 thou undersize. Or just 1, yeah, we're 1 thou undersize. So we're at 3.8749. So, I mean, that's pretty good. Now let's go down to the middle. Middle, bam, good measurement there. And let's go down here. So the bottom is pretty tight, and I felt that on each one of these cylinders. The bottom is really tight, and I kind of dwelled in the bottom section on most of these, if you saw on the last clip. And so what we got here is our bottom is about 2 thou tighter. So we're at 3.878. And then the right way to do it is to measure it at least 2 axis right here. So I'll show you what that looks like. Yeah, we got about 1 thou undersize. Not the end of the world, but in the middle, good to go. And on the bottom, yeah, we are tight. About 1.5 thou. So, and then what you do is you go through, you take this, you measure at least in, what, 6 places, all across all your cylinder bank, or all your cylinders. So you can see what you're working with. And then once you've taken your bore gauge and you've measured out all the cylinders in at least 6 places, make sure you're taking notes as you do that. Find the tolerance for your engine. Like, I know for a 350 small block, the tolerance is 2 thou. So your cylinder can be 4.0002, and you're still good to go to use stock stuff. Past that, you get 4 and 3 thou, 4 and 4 thou. You're done. You need to go up a size. You need to get it bored and rehoned. So if it's a few thou looser or a few thou tighter, that's okay. And is this going to run in its current state? Yeah, it's going to run. Is it going to be massive blow by? No, I don't think so. Will there be some? For sure. But a way to combat that is to adjust your ring gap. Different video, different topic. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for today. I hope you learned something. I hope this was helpful to you. If it was, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and get out there, dive your next project. Catch you next time.